grab your tea, pull up a chair, and lock the door because we need to talk. And I mean really talk about what is bubbling under the surface right now because you are not even ready for what is about to come out. This is the kind of story that doesn't just make headlines. It burns them to the ground and leaves nothing but ash and ruined reputations in its wake. We have been watching the soap opera of the Sussexes for years now, haven't we? Rolling our eyes at the Montecito whining and the endless victimhood narrative. But while we were all distracted by the Netflix tears and the spare book tours, a massive storm has been gathering in the darkest corner of the royal family, and it involves the one person everyone thought was silenced forever, Prince Andrew. Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. So now, you see, for the longest time, we thought Andrew was done, dusted, packed away in the royal lodge, with his teddy bears and his shame, stripped of his titles and erased from public life by his late mother, our beloved queen, who had to make the impossible choice to cut him loose to save the monarchy. But here is the thing about a man who has lost absolutely everything. He becomes dangerous because he has nothing left to lose. And sources are whispering that the Duke of York is finally ready to open his mouth after years of enforced silence. And the name that is reportedly making him shake with rage isn't his accusers. It isn't the press. It is Meghan Markle. Let's be honest with each other, neighbor. Doesn't it feel like there has always been a piece of the puzzle missing when it comes to the Duchess of Sussex? We watched her waltz into the family, playing the naive American tourist who didn't know how to curtsy and had never Googled her prince. But something about that story never sat right with those of us who pay attention. And now the rumors swirling around Andrew suggest that our instincts were right all along. Because the word on the street is that Andrew and Meghan didn't just meet when Harry introduced them. Oh no. The whispers suggest they ran in the exact same circles long before Harry was even a blip on her radar. Think about the sheer injustice that must be eating Andrew alive right now. He looks at his life, completely destroyed by his association with certain unsavory characters and the yachting lifestyle of the rich and secretive. And then he looks across the ocean at Meghan, the Z-lister, who climbed her way up the ladder using the exact same social climbing network, and she is being celebrated as a feminist icon while he is the family pariah. It is enough to make anyone bitter, but for Andrew, it is personal because he reportedly knows where the bodies are buried. He knows the truth about the yachting years, and he knows that the narrative of Meghan meeting Harry on a blind date is a house of cards waiting to be blown over. We have to talk about the photos. You know the ones. The pictures from around 2014 that show Meghan lounging on a private yacht, looking entirely too comfortable in a world that she supposedly knew nothing about. This wasn't a holiday cruise. This was the elite, secretive world of billionaires and power brokers, the very same world Andrew inhabited. And you have to ask yourself, what are the odds? What are the chances that a cable TV actress from Toronto just accidentally stumbled onto a yacht filled with the kind of people who have direct lines to the British aristocracy? It's not luck, it's a network. And at the center of that network was Marcus Anderson and Soho House, the ultimate gatekeepers of the social elite. It is absolutely fascinating when you peel back the layers because Marcus Anderson wasn't just a friend to Meghan. He was the architect of her rise, the man who held the keys to the most exclusive doors in London and beyond, and it was through him that she reportedly gained access to the circles that eventually led to the royals. But here is the explosive part that Andrew is allegedly sitting on. The theory that Harry wasn't the target, at least not initially. Because insiders have suggested for a long time that Meghan, with her laser focus on status and security, originally had her sights set on the Duke of York himself. Can you imagine the audacity, the sheer calculation involved in that, targeting the Queen's favorite son because he was seen as a gateway into the firm? He was established, he was wealthy, and he was deeply embedded in the hierarchy, unlike Harry, who was the spare, the wild child. The one with the emotional baggage, Andrew was the safer bet for someone looking to secure a permanent spot in high society. But She hit a brick wall, and that brick wall was named Sarah Ferguson. Because if there is one thing we know about Fergie, it is that she is street smart and she knows a hustler when she sees one. And the rumor is that she clocked Meghan's game from a mile away and shut it down before it could even start. So what does a spotlight-hungry mastermind do when Plan A fails? She pivots to Plan B. And tragically, Plan B was our poor, vulnerable, brainwashed Prince Harry, a man who was walking around with a gaping wound in his heart left by the loss of his mother, desperate for someone to save him, desperate for a mother figure. And along comes Meghan, who had apparently studied the royal playbook and knew exactly which buttons to push. She played the role of the humanitarian, the listener, the outsider who just wanted to love him for who he was, and Harry, bless his heart, never stood a chance. He fell hook, line, and sinker, completely unaware that he might have been the second choice, the consolation prize in a game of royal roulette. This is where my heart just breaks for the working royals, for our dignified Prince William and our gracious Catherine, and for King Charles and Queen Camilla, who have had to stand there and maintain their silence while this absolute circus unfolds. Can you imagine how much they know? Can you imagine the conversations that must have happened behind closed doors at Buckingham Palace? They aren't stupid. They have the best intelligence services in the world at their disposal. They had to have known about Meghan's past, about the yachting rumors, about the connections to Andrew's world. And yet they let the wedding go ahead. Why? Because they were trying to protect Harry. They knew Harry was fragile. They knew that if they exposed Meghan's past, if they showed him the dossier that proved she wasn't who she said she was, it would have broken him completely. He would have felt betrayed by his family. He would have lashed out, and the public would have accused the institution of being cruel and exclusionary. So they made a calculation. They decided to bury the truth, to wipe the slate clean, and to welcome her in with open arms in the hopes that she would rise to the occasion, that the dignity of the monarchy would rub off on her. But as we all know, you can't turn a reality star with an agenda into a future queen consort overnight. And this is why Andrew is so furious now. He watched the palace move heaven and earth to protect Meghan's reputation. He watched them silence the press, bury the photos, and smooth over the cracks in her backstory, all while they threw him to the wolves. He lost his military titles. He lost his patronages. He lost the right to use HRH. While Meghan, who allegedly swam in the same murky waters, got a $30 million wedding, a global platform, and a title that she still uses to make money in America. The hypocrisy is staggering, and Andrew is sitting in the royal lodge realizing that his loyalty to the crown got him nothing but exile, while Meghan's treachery got her a mansion in Montecito. It makes you look at William and Catherine with even more respect, doesn't it? Because through all of this, through all the mudslinging and the lies and the docu-series, they have just kept going, heads down, doing the work, shaking hands, cutting ribbons, representing us with honor and class. They haven't leaked stories, they haven't done tell-all interviews. They have just been the steady rock that the monarchy needs. And frankly, the contrast between Catherine's grace and Meghan's grasping ambition is blinding. Catherine took 10 years to learn the ropes, to earn her place, to understand the weight of the crown, while Meghan demanded everything immediately and then burned the house down when she didn't get her way. But the clock is ticking, and I truly believe that the silence is about to break, because Andrew and Fergie are reportedly joining forces, and that is a terrifying combination for the Sussexes. Fergie has been on a rehabilitation tour lately. She's back in the fold, she's supporting the king, but she is also a lioness when it comes to her family, and she sees how her ex-husband has been destroyed, while the woman she allegedly blocked from his life is living it up. If Andrew decides to write a memoir, or even just leaks a few choice details to a friendly journalist, the entire narrative that Meghan has built collapses in an instant. Imagine the fallout if the world finds out that Meghan and Andrew knew each other. Imagine the questions that would be asked. Suddenly, the innocent flower act doesn't work anymore. Suddenly, the "I didn't know much about the royal family" line becomes the lie of the century. And Harry, poor Harry, would be forced to confront the reality that his wife didn't just stumble into his life by fate, but that she was hunting for a royal title, and he was the one who was slow enough to get caught in the trap. It would be the ultimate humiliation for him, proving that his family was right to be cautious, that William was right to ask him to slow down, and that his entire rebellion was based on a manipulation. The palace is terrified of this, of course, because even though they despise what Meghan has done, they hate scandal more. And an explosion from Andrew would drag the monarchy back into the headlines for all the wrong reasons. It would bring up the past that King Charles is desperately trying to move on from. But you can't control a man who feels he has been wronged. And Andrew feels that the double standard applied to him versus Meghan is the ultimate betrayal. He sees her playing the victim on Oprah, crying about how hard her life is in a mansion, while he is literally fighting to keep a roof over his head, and that level of resentment is a ticking time bomb. This is why we are seeing so much panic from the Sussex camp lately. Have you noticed the rebranding, the desperate attempts to look busy, the sudden pivot to cooking shows and lifestyle brands? They are trying to cement their status before the rug gets pulled out from under them. Because Meghan knows that her past is her Achilles heel. She knows that there are people out there who remember the yacht days, who remember the Soho House climb, and who remember exactly how determined she was to snag a rich British husband, and the one person who can connect all the dots is the one person the world has stopped listening to, until now. It's truly a Shakespearean tragedy when you look at it. A king trying to hold his kingdom together, a loyal heir and his perfect wife trying to maintain dignity, a black sheep son who has been led astray by a sorceress, and a fallen duke who holds the secret that could blow it all apart. And in the middle of it all is us, the public, watching the mask slip, seeing the cracks in the veneer, and realizing that the fairy tale we were sold was actually a nightmare of ambition and deceit. And the saddest part is that Harry gave up everything, his duty, his friends, his family, his country, for a woman who might have just seen him as the next best thing after his uncle turned her down. I don't know about you, but I am Team William and Team Catherine all the way. They are the future, they are the class acts, and they deserve better than this constant drama. But we cannot ignore the storm that is coming from the Royal Lodge. Because if Andrew speaks, if he truly unleashes the files and the photos and the memories of those lost years, it won't just be a scandal. It will be a reckoning, a moment where the truth finally catches up with the lies. And Meghan Markle will finally have to answer for the history she tried so hard to erase. And honestly, I think it's about time the truth came out, don't you? The House of Cards is shaking, my friends. The wind is picking up. And the one thing we know about the truth is that it always, always finds a way to the surface. No matter how deep you bury it, or how many PR firms you hire to hide it. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears to the ground, because I have a feeling that the next chapter of the saga isn't going to be written by Meghan in a glossy magazine. It's going to be written by the ghosts of her past. And it is going to be absolutely spectacular to watch the facade crumble. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Andrew has the goods on Meghan? Do you think she tried to target him first? And how do you think Harry would react if he found out he was just Plan B? I read every single comment and I want to hear your take on this royal mess. Until next time, keep your teacups full and your eyes open, because the truth is coming. Ta-ta, and bye for now.